Welcome to episode 13 of ProdPod, the podcast of productivity lessons in 2 minutes or less. I'm Sidney-Smith, your productivity guide. This is part 2 of our 4-part podcast on how to form a productive habit. In this episode, we'll be discussing unproductive habits. Most productive habits start by the realization of an unproductive one. So my first piece of advice is to stop digging as best as you can. Here's an analogy. If your clothing caught on fire, you shouldn't run as the fire will spread. The best thing to do is to stop, drop, and roll, to cut off the oxygen vital to the fire. Much of your behaviors that built your habits were noticeable when you first formed them. Combat the unproductive by stopping to take the time to reflect on it, before replacing the unproductive habits with your newly formed productive habit. Then ask yourself, what was the original purpose or reason for the development of this unproductive habit? What need and or want did it fulfill? And what is it you want to achieve now? Write it down, put it in a drawer, and come back to it as often as necessary. Next, practice negating as much negative self-speak and internal dialogue. I also suggest not talking about habits as good or bad, as it connotes judgment more than if something is qualitatively or quantitatively productive or not. And one final guideline, avoid using the present or past tense of the modal auxiliary verbs will, should, would, could, can, must, ought to, had better, dare, and need. I find that people who keep their self-speak in the present indicative mood, I am a productive person, instead of I will be a productive person, tend to shed unproductive habits faster and longer term. In episode 14, we'll learn about the highlights of the most current scientific data on automaticity, some of which may surprise you. I hope you enjoyed this episode of ProdPod. This is Sidney-Smith, and thanks for listening. Here's to your productivity success in 2 minutes or less.